I understand that at the middle of the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln decided to put into place land grant universities, um, creating universities, places where people could be educated that could be funded by land grants. He granted land to the universities so they could take that income and offer in perpetuity education for young people. But you're saying that beyond just education and beyond the traditional role of research, universities have a charter for public service, and we should look to them to help us in this time of great change.
Yes, we have to reimagine universities. We have to ask universities and colleges to reimagine themselves. But equally, we have to tell the story to corporations, the people in corporations that have societal agendas, and foundations. We have to tell governments all around the world that if they're taking on these problems, their local college or university could or anyone, college or university around the world, could be the place where they can get help with some of these most gifted and dedicated people, human assets, and the physical assets. I think it's also important that we and I and my friends with the enterprise, we want to share what we've learned. There are web-based tools. There is a great deal of knowledge that needs to be shared, and so we can help people do this, and that is what we are in the process of doing right now.
And over 15 years, you helped the faculty and staff of Berkeley begin to understand how to use this instrument. How did you tell them? How did you get the message out? Because what I see the problem is that somebody's outside the university says, I have a problem. Is this something I can take to the university? And they don't even know where to start.
Well, I won't go into like the 15 classes that we had at our campus, taught by some of the best people on campus.
Who did they teach?
They taught the staff of the campus.
Okay.
We had a Top Gun class, which was for basically the chief operating officers, the deputy directors, and it was very intense. And at graduation, they got a Top Gun hat. Mm-hmm. And because you have to build the infrastructure and the knowledge and the tools. And again, what we need to do is tell the world that the doors are open. I think that we all can recognize that ever since the 2008, 2009 recession, that public institutions across the world have been very, very distressed. We pretty much know that virtually all states in this country, except 2 states, have cuts as available money for students. Classes have been cut. Professors have been laid off. So the message there is that universities and colleges, they want a new source of revenue. They want to be able to not just reignite this spirit in the frequencies of our founding fathers, but this can lead to help with fiscal sustainability.
In fact, in the best way, when you say fiscal sustainability, it'll bring money to the university to do something for the public.
Absolutely. And so the university is hitting its traditional roles, but it's also getting potentially, Malin, I was there. I signed close to 10,000 contracts, and it was valued at approximately $1 billion of unencumbered revenue.
Can I have the next graphic? So what I think we're hearing Brian Donahue say is that the #1 public university, Berkeley, in the University of California at Berkeley, has for 15 years been pioneering this path of public service contracts, and that he himself has gone around the university training the faculty and the staff in 15 boot camps to understand how to respond to the public. And now you're on a quest to help other universities learn how to do this, because it's so needed at a time of great change when we're trying to understand how to deal with health, how to deal with education, how to deal with all of these issues that are flooding us faster than we can deal with them. We should be working out how can we put together public service contracts with our universities to tap the tremendous assets that, in fact, we've invested in the universities.
You know, the funny thing is, Maylene, it sounds like what I'm talking about is new, but it's not new at all. The roots of higher education, public education, Abraham Lincoln, universities were integrated into the community. And allow me just real quickly to read a quote by a dear friend who graduated from a public university in 2012, Amanda. Not only are public service contracts legal, but they fulfill the original mission of a public university. One can say that over time, academia has become elite and closed off from public discourse. By opening our doors again to do business and involve the community in learning and social advancement, maybe we aren't so much being revolutionary as we are simply revisiting the original mission. I believe that what we are doing here is so deeply rooted in our values as human beings, and to enlighten the spirit of that, I'm very confident that we as a human body will re-embrace these original founding doctrines, and that will get us through all of these crises. It has to. It is the spirit of human beings that have always done it, and it's the only thing that's going to work right now. And so all I'm doing is saying, hey, let's go back to our roots. Let's get on with it.
Wonderful. So let's have a summing up graphic that, would you like to speak to, what is it that you've been telling us today, Brian?
What this graphic attempts to represent is the traditional view of how colleges and universities bring in revenue. The red at 1 or 2 o'clock is the government-sponsored money. That's the research, the traditional research to uncover new facts and knowledge. The industry in purple, that's private sector that invests for research. But the big one is the green one that says public service contracts, and that's a whole new source of revenue. So I know it works. I was there, and what our job today is to reignite that spirit, and in the process, get to work.
I am so glad, Brian, that such a big quest has such a worthy advocate as you. I think I can see the military bearing and the intensity that you bring to this. And these troubled times need heroes and big leaders. So thank you very much. This has been Just Picture It. Thanks for joining us.